Hi friends, and welcome to Cupcake Cat. My name's Angela, and on today's episode I'm going to show you how to make these topiaries. So let's jump into crafting. For this first project, we're going to be creating a large heart topiary out of cardboard. I really wanted to use either one of the white foam craft hearts that Dollar Tree's had in the past, or one of the purple or red foam wall hangers that they had, but I couldn't find them at any of my stores. I checked online at like the beginning of the month, January, and they said they'd be in my store by around the 26th. Well, I checked a week later and they were no longer available in store, and you couldn't even order them from the warehouse. So I don't know what happened, but that wasn't an option this year. The white craft foam heart is not even on the website, so that's not even available at all. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it seems like Dollar Tree is scaling back on their crafters square section, or even crafting supplies available for holidays, because the options available were so minimal even online. But anyways, I wanted to do this project and I had cardboard, so I thought I can create this with cardboard. I started out with a piece of regular printer paper and cut out half of a heart, using that to trace onto the cardboard to create the full heart. I'm doing it double-sided because I'm going to be putting one of the smaller dowel rods you can find at Dollar Tree in the middle between the two sides to use as the trunk or stem. Now, because I'm making this out of cardboard, I didn't want it to be flat. I wanted it to be more 3D looking. So I took the original heart I traced and just kept cutting it down smaller and smaller until I had multiple pieces, creating that 3D shape I was looking for. Once I had all my hearts cut out, it was time to glue them together. I used hot glue and repeated this process for both sides. If I was going to recreate this, or if you plan to, my suggestion would be the smaller hearts you cut out, duplicate those for each side to give it more of a 3D shape. It looks 3D, but it's not as thick as I would have liked it to be. And during the assembly process, I realized that because this is flat cardboard and the dowel rod I'm using is round, the edges did not want to stick together and it kind of made it bulge, and I didn't like that look. So I took the largest heart and created two more, and then I cut out the middle so I could use the outside edge as a gap filler between the two sections. Once those were both cut out, I then glued them down to the large heart and then cut off any excess that was sticking over. I did try a couple options to get these to stick together before I decided on the cutout pieces. This section here that I'm gluing in is not necessary. I thought it would work, but at the tip where the two hearts meet at the bottom, there still was a gap, so that's why I went with the other heart. So disregard that portion. I used it because I had it. Once those were glued together, I decided to take some masking tape and go around the entire outside edge of the heart just to reinforce that edge and keep the two sides from coming apart. So to glue down the moss, I decided to go with a mixture of Mod Podge and Aleene's Tacky Glue. The Mod Podge alone was too runny, and the Aleene's was too thick, but mixed together, it worked great. If you have another suggestion on what I should have used or could have used, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know your opinion. Working in small sections at a time, I coated on the glue mixture and then covered the entire heart with moss. Once this side was complete, I flipped it over and did the exact same process on the other side. Once all the glue was dried on the heart, I took a foam block and cut it down to fit inside this pail that I had gotten from Dollar Tree. And then I shoved it down inside, making sure it would fit. I then cut down the wispies that were hanging off the heart just to clean it up a little bit and make it look a little more polished. Disregard the rocks. I ended up not using them. I was afraid that it was going to be too tippy once I got the heart in, but it wasn't. It was sturdy, so I decided not to use those and just cover the bottom with moss using hot glue to keep it in place. I totally should have done this part before I started assembling the final project, but I didn't think about it at the time. I wanted this stick to look more like a tree trunk, so I gave it a quick coat of brown paint. I picked these heart bouquets up for another project, which I didn't end up using. I was going to use those for my quiver and arrow set that I made. If you haven't seen that video, I'll go ahead and link it in the cards. I decided that the large topiary needed a friend, so I'm going to be creating a smaller double topiary to go with it. Again, using that combination of Aleene's Tacky Glue and Mod Podge, I coated the entire heart and then covered it in moss. And I repeated this step on both sides of the heart and on both hearts. Once both hearts were dry, I gave them a quick little haircut to get rid of all the wispies. And after that was done, I took this foam block and cut down a little piece to go inside the pot. And then I just cut the remaining sides down and packed it in tight so it didn't move around. Decided to go ahead and paint the stick before I put it in the pot, making it easier on myself. Gave it a quick coat of brown paint. Using my wire clippers, I cut off the excess stick that was not needed. Once that was in place, I used the remaining glue mixture I had on the top of the foam so I could attach the moss. And just like that, our second topiary is complete. For this next project, we're not using moss, but we are going to use these two wreath forms I have. I'm going to remove the sparkly stuff to reveal just the form. I did cut off the little tabs that were holding on the garland. And I made some cuts in the second one, cutting it all the way through here. And then on this middle section, I cut a spot there and there, so that I can interlock these and they look like they're one piece instead of it being two separate forms. I also cut it up here in the bottom heart so that I could link those two. And what we're going to be creating is a door hanger using burlap. I cut off this loop at the top of both hearts, and when I did it, it cracked one of the sides on each of the hearts. So I ended up using hot glue to glue it back in place and keep it together. And I apologize for the blurriness of this project so far. My camera did not like the sparkliness of that tinsel and didn't know where to focus. I then cut strips of this burlap so I could wrap it around, hot gluing the first piece in place. I ended up doubling up the burlap so that it covered the form completely and you didn't see that color sticking through. Now I did get my burlap from Walmart. It is a way better deal to get it there than it is at Dollar Tree, especially with the price increase. And this roll was $4 and some change or something like that. And I ended up using the entire roll on this project. I had a little bit left over, but not much. But that's all it took, was one roll. I made sure that when I was wrapping it, that the seam side was facing down so that it was covered up by the next layer. Once I got to the bottom of the heart and glued this piece down, I decided to stop on that one and move on to the second heart. That way when I interlocked them, the fabric wasn't in the way and I could wrap the fabric around each one of them while they were connected. Stopping at the first cut in the heart, that way I could connect them and continue on. Before covering the cut parts with burlap, I decided to glue those together and then reinforce it with some masking tape. Not so fun fact, I found out during this project that my camera only records in 20-minute increments, so it did not capture me attaching the other segments, but that works out because it cleared up the video quality. So I can't really explain how I did this process of wrapping it around. It was really a trial and error and just maneuvering it through the different segments of each heart. I wanted each heart to look individual but at the same time connected, so I'm just going to speed it up, turn on some music, and let you enjoy. Now once I made it all the way around this heart, because of the way I was folding the burlap, the seam was showing on one side, so I took an additional piece of burlap, folded it in thirds so none of the seam was showing, and wrapped it right around the top. Now this section, there was some trial and error. Here I'm trying to cover up both hearts with one piece of fabric, so I had to keep weaving it in and out to figure out how exactly I wanted it. Figured it out and it worked out great, and I continued to wrap the burlap around the entire heart. And just like the other heart, when I got to the end, I did not want that seam of the burlap showing, so I took another small piece, put it in thirds, and wrapped it around to cover that up. The roll of burlap had this jute wrapped around it when I purchased it, so I used it to create a new hanger. If you wanted to add flowers or a bow to this, you definitely could, but for me, I'm happy with it the way it is. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you got some inspiration on creating your own topiaries. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, bye!